So right now the combat feels pretty good, right?
Right.
Like in general. I will tell you that as the game goes on, it will become more and more intense and more straight up challenging in a lot of ways. You're going to start running into enemies that can and will one hit kill you if you don't dodge properly.
Oh, fun.
Now,
Now
I'm not
see, I thought
saying
I thought I already met the snipers.
now the thing that I'm going to say here also is that you have more than enough tools to deal with it properly, but punishing is maybe the word that I might use for some of the end game combat.
Well, bring it on. I say it's not like I haven't already been sucking.
So well, you're not quite at the end game yet. You're a little ways off. But now might be the time to start preparing for more intensity and the hiss.
Well, you know what I say to that?
What do you say to that?
I say it might be instead time for you to prepare for editing.
Yeah. No, yep. What are you talking about? I haven't had to edit a single thing. All of our videos have been smooth like silk.
And all of those visual gags happened at the time.
That's right. I've got a you can tell because I have all of this money that I've spent on a stream deck, and that's how I can put images on the thing. I don't do that. It just doesn't show up on Twitch because of the
Because of the DMCA takedown.
that's right. DMCA takedown has gotten so advanced as to be able to live detect imagery, including photoshops.
Including images of Barry Wheeler.
Yeah, he's the agent.
Especially images of Barry Wheeler.
Barry Wheeler is himself an altered world event and must be contained.
That's right. We gotta get to the Panopticon.
Okay.
We have to fight our way through the game not wanting to cooperate. As often we do.
Yeah. That's correct. I have something that you might be excited to hear though.
Yeah?
Which as long as we're talking about games that don't necessarily want to cooperate,
What you got for me?
there is a section in Alan Wake's DLC that involves platforming.
Oh,
and
good.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's not great, and I don't like platformers. I forgot, like, I completely erased that part of Alan Wake as a video game from my memory, and upon remembering that it exists, I was like, oh right, of course I got this out of my memory. This is the worst part of the game. This is the worst part of every game. And it's actually not all that bad, but it makes the game, it does not need to be there.
It is unnecessary padding.
It is, yeah, it's unnecessary padding, but also, you know that I have
Platform dyslexia?
Platform dyslexia, kinda, yeah. But I have pretty strong feelings about if something does not add to your game, or if something does not make your product better, it would be better served not being there.
Oh, we're getting started early with the big follows today.
Yeah, WH Crunch 4463 in chat brings up a good point, which is just gargled noise and a horrible.
It's the hiss.
Oh, you know, some of these aren't like you've got like umlauts and shit all over this.
It's fucking Zalgo.
It is. It's a little bit of Zalgo. Zalgo, this way you go home. Now, I will also say two things in relation to nothing else.
Yeah?
Actually, no. I'm gonna save that for later because I don't think that the stream can handle it. Oh, that's ominous. That's an ominous thing to say. Okay, no. Game that doesn't work or is superfluous.
Hmm.
I would way rather it just not be a part of the game at all, and for your game to be 10% shorter, 5% shorter. If you think that you've designed a bad level, and you think that the rest of your levels are great, but there's this one that you're just like Half-Life 1 didn't need to. It was incomplete. It was a mess. If they just cut out Zen and gave you like some visual representation of what had happened there, or like some you literally could have jumped through a portal into a boss arena, it probably would have been fine. But the fact that Zen was there always exists as like a permanent scar and stain on what was otherwise like a pretty solid and pretty excellent game, right? And Alan Wake, I feel like, is a game that is, generally speaking, excellent. Like, going back and playing it now and just looking at everything a second, third, fourth time, I forgot that Alan Wake was probably one of my favorite games of all time. I would put it up there with like Wind Waker and Mass Effect 2 and Breath of the Wild as just like, holy shit, this game is doing some stuff, and I like everything that it's trying to do. And there's so much that it's trying to do that, like, there are definitely parts of that game that I did not appreciate when it first came out because I was kind of too young to. But at the same time, even playing it as a kid, I more or less got like the feel of what everything was going for. It felt like a tight and complete, and it feels like the same thing now, only better. DLC always occupies a strange place in my head as somebody who like largely ignored DLC for a long time and still does whenever I can. Like, I consider the game that you put on the master disc to be the game, and then every time you put out DLC, you have to make it so good as to make up for the fact that it's a DLC. Like, you need to apologize for the fact that it's not part of the game. Otherwise, it's something that you paid for that is an inferior product that brings the whole experience down. That's my opinion. And that's not a popular opinion, but that's my opinion.
Man, I'll tell you what, though. I might need to cold boot this. It is not.
Is it not working properly?
It's hanging more than usual.
Go ahead and close it and keep the stream up, and then just, you know, double boot it back in.
I need to, like, reboot my system. Welcome back to Jesse Faden's Bizarre Adventure.
What's up, everybody? If you want to follow along with what we've been doing in the, I don't know, minute and a half since we've been offline, I decided to copy-paste. This is probably the worst decision I've ever made, like, in terms of just schmuckbait. But I took that bot's message in chat and just copy-pasted it into my browser and see what showed up. Just to see what would show up, rather. I have the same message coming up on no less than fameswap.com, 2fame.com, www.megafollow.com, 5bbc.com, buyinstagramfollowers.org, igetfamous.com, and buildmyplays.com. And apparently, I see at the bottom of this page that the U.S. Digital Millennium Copyright Act has, in fact, taken down a number of these. DMCA is actively fighting the bots.
Actually doing something good for once.
Hold my breath on that.
Let's see if this will behave maybe a little bit better now. I love to troubleshoot during a stream.
I am staring down in the meantime. Not like the feeling of slam well cream into or a long silver spoon into a well greased what? Multi CPU I get? Not even. Oh. Would you say that your CPU is as old or older?
It is the oldest part of the system.
I'm saying that it is or older than Revolver Ocelot in MGS1.
It may well
is that...
be. It may be older than Revolver Ocelot in MGS5.
Is your... Well, that's 30 in that game.
This. Charge velocity boost.
That's not too bad.
Speed,
Although,
guess.
anyway, Metal Gear, sure, there's some actual for how old Revolver Ocelot was in each of those games. I'm guessing he's probably older than 30 MGS5, but he sure just looks 30. He might be like 40. The question is, how old was he during the Shadow Moses incident? Because that could be anywhere from 50 to 70 fucking Metal Gear years.
Well, at least these guys stayed dead.
Right?
We're losing you here, just so you know.
Great! It makes me so happy.
Stream quality go up.
Stream quality go up. I'm gonna be totally honest with you, Bix.
Yeah?
I think it's your computer not being able to handle the cord and...
I mean, you say that, but my CPU isn't even capping out. I've got a resource monitor going here in real time. It might well just be your connection. But with all that said, the game is running better now, after that cold boot. So that's good.
Running better. I wish that there was some way... I wish that there was, like, a clearer example as to what is going right and what is going wrong. You know what I mean? Like, of all of the problems that Watch Dogs Legion has, at least that game will pop up and say, like, hey, your CPU is bad, or your frame rates are bad, and this is what's killing them. Twitch is just like, I don't know, man. The whole thing just died, and I can't tell you why.
I'll tell you what. As soon as we finish this, I'm probably gonna go back and play it again on my own time.
Control?
Yeah. Just so I can play it without it doing this.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. I would probably do the same thing. I mean, it runs well enough. Like, you can get it to, like, throttle the precipice of playable. But as soon as you try to do anything more, the whole thing just topples like a house of cards.
Bingo.
Steve Reich.
It all comes tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down.
In my heart of hearts, I know that I could never stream again.
That's right.
I've lost everything.
It's been
Everything that matters to me
Dylan and I knew each other.
matters on this
I've
site.
wondered about him. What kind of man he'd grow up to
Man,
be.
I wish that I could turn back time.
Things as hard for him as they were for me.
Guilt is clearly all mine.
Maybe in here, they were even
Man,
harder.
those fucking bots better not come after this video too. You kidding me?
There's no
If
winning.
There's no winning.
Hey,
The
watch your step.
The only winning move is not to play. The only winning move, in fact, is to just play however you want and hope for the best.
Oh, hello.
Oh, look at this guy. He looks
Is there
terrible.
something I can help you with?
I'm Jesse.
That's a
the new
rude way to
director.
talk about me. Behind
I
my
need to get
back.
inside.
New director. Right.
At least say those things to
well,
my
okay.
face.
Hello.
You know,
I'm
my
Frederick
digital
Langston,
avatar
the
face.
Panopticon supervisor.
Yeah.
It's not the best time.
So
for
there's
a
still
tour.
that
We
layer
have
of
hiss
obfuscation
everywhere,
where I don't have to
numerous
feel bad
cell
about
breaches,
myself.
System failures across the board, but you're the director, so here we go.
That's all I'm asking for.
Founded by Zachariah Trench, the Panopticon is our state-of-the-art
Let me ask you
repository
now.
for all altered
How's
items,
how's the
power,
connection
and-
I
holding
was
up
told
now?
Dylan Faden
Better.
was kept here. Can you help me
That's
find
something.
Faden. Sure. Darling wanted him somewhere secure.
Only
and
took us
isolated away
17
from
minutes.
people. He's in the maximum security cells, upper level. But there's currently a pressing matter, ma'am. We've
Oh.
got an object of power loose in there.
Hello, Langston.
It's wrecking the place. The Benikoff TV. It's a real doozy. Salvador took a team in to handle it, but no one's heard from them for hours. This is a Category 5 OOP we're talking about, and if we don't contain it soon, it will tear the Panopticon apart. And we don't want all those altered items getting loose, ma'am. No, trust me.
Now this guy looks like a
Dylan's in
human
there.
being.
Open the door, Langston. I'll handle it.
If you say so. I usually tell first timers
Except when he
not to
opens
touch
his eyes
things,
really
so,
wide, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just do that. Here, I'll get the door for you.
Oh, that comb over
And
looks
please,
fucking
man.
terrible.
Call me Fred.
I know. It's real
Thanks,
bad.
Langston.
Has there ever been a comb over that looked good? No.
No.
Better not get blamed for this mess in the next performance.
Okay, so
Panopticon.
let me
Dylan's close.
posit to you a
But
statement.
that object of power might wreck this
Yeah.
place before we
I
find him.
think that if your hair is going in such a way that you have either that much of a receding hairline, if your receding hairline is any more severe than Vegeta, shave your head. Just get it all off. Do the Patrick Stewart, be Picard. Because you think about like Kleiner, and you think about like Homer Simpson, and you think about Langston here, and it's like, just, it's not worth it, man. You would look so much better if you just decided to embrace it.
Just don't do the comb over. Just don't do it. It's bad.
But even like, don't do like the thing on the sides where your cap is entirely gone and it's just, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that either. Just get rid of it. People will make less fun of you as a bald person than they will as a person who looks like, I guess, a cartoon scientist. Or Carl from Aqua Teen.
Carl doesn't even have a comb over. He's got the receding hairline, but he just kind of lets it rock.
He doesn't let it rock, though. It just looks terrible. Like, if you were Carl, do you think that
Look.
Carl would be the same level of Carl that he is if he just got rid of the sides of his hair and decided to go bald all around?
I mean, they did do that in one episode, and yeah, kinda.
That's the solution. Kids, as Metal Gear Solid taught us, genetics are terrifying, and they're not always good. In fact, they're usually not good.
They're not your friend.
But own up to it. You know? Rock it with your own confidence.
Now, see, what I'm saying is that, yes, Carl's hair looks bad. But if it was a comb over, it would look worse.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But what I'm saying is that, like, he doesn't have the amount of hair on the side of him to comb it over into a comb over. If he had the hair to do it, he would do that.
He would do it, and he would think it looks good.
Yes.
You're absolutely
It's like
right.
every single person that has ever worn a toupee in the history of ever is like, dude, everybody knows it's a toupee. Everyone knows that it's a toupee. Everyone can just take the toupee off. If you're really that worried about it, either like maybe grow a little bit of stubble out. You know? You can make it work. Everyone is beautiful in their own way unless they have a comb over, in which case, please, get rid of the comb over. Your face is enough.
If there's one critique that I will issue to this game, is that it's not always super obvious when you're taking damage.
I would agree with that. Because you take damage really quickly.
And there's no screen effects or anything. The most you'll get is like a pain grunt from Jesse, but not always. Never if you're like dealing self-damage with the rocket launcher, it won't happen.
I think part of the problem is this game is so pretty and on a marvelous, like on a big fancy display, especially where your resolution is huge, your eyes have to go farther to get to the health bar, and your health bar is your only indicator.
Especially when you're playing this in 16:9, like I do.
Yeah. Now, if you say had a had some sort of a rig on your back,
or
that
you
would
know,
light
just
up.
like flashing health borders on the screen.
Like
That's
big,
tried and true.
I dislike those though.
I don't mind them. It's the best solution, honestly. I'll tell you what, though. Made of fire.
I don't know about that. I kind of think that the best solution is Dead Space's solution. Put it on your character.
Well, it depends on the pacing of the game.
It
For Dead
depends on
Space, it works, but if you have enemies that shoot with guns, you want to know when you're taking hits. Like in Alan Wake, when you take damage, it's always super obvious.
Yeah.
Because you stumble and everything goes slow for a second. And that's great. That's perfect.
Well, there's that, and there's the audio cues, which are a little bit more punchy in Alan Wake. Like, it sounds like you just got hit with a fucking blade.
There's feedback instead of not. That's it. I'm getting me mallet.
But also, the thing about Jessie is that Jessie, it makes sense that she's not taking an impact a whole lot, because she's really not supposed to be.
Something went wrong with the Bureau's
I
plan.
think if it were up to me, I would have
Marshall made it
I
sound
would
like
have
he was
a
all
mixture
Bureau's
of
fault, but
screen effects
how much of it
and,
was what the Bureau did to him?
like, implemented
I
UI.
bet she's telling me.
I think it's a failure to have, like, Call of Duty jelly on the screen.
I'm
And I
not
think
saying it needs to be jelly, although this game kind of does that anyway. I'm just saying you just need to have the screen flash red when you take a hit.
How do you feel about getting hit and having it be, like, chromatic aberration for a second? Because a lot of games do that.
I do like that.
I feel like that's the better way to do it.
All I'm saying is it needs to be some kind of screen effect. Something that is impossible to miss.
I like desaturation a little bit. I like a quick flash and like drops the saturation like a tenth
What are you
maybe,
doing in there?
and then goes back. Because I think my problem is so many games try to do the hit indicator and somehow mess it up. Like, despite it being such a simple concept to do, that you would
can't, I'm
think that you
sorry.
couldn't fuck it up.
There's an emergency.
Somehow
I'll
fucking
come back, I
Grand
promise.
Theft Auto 5 exists,
okay,
where you
don't
get
forget,
hit at your
I
12
can't
o'clock
bear this thing much
and you get a
longer.
bullet indicator at your 6 o'clock, making you turn around to your 6 o'clock because that's where the fucking indicator is pointing. It's like, what are you doing?
That game is not very good.
Dude, so many games have that, where they try and put the indicator where, like, the exit wound is, to, like, imply that there is an exit wound, and it's like,
That's not
okay,
helpful.
It's not only not helpful, it's the most counterintuitive thing I can imagine. Also, yeah, here's your straight up SCP moment with the dude at the fridge, right? This one is the most on the nose in the game.
It's a little on the nose.
And I say that in a game where its first DLC pack is named Foundation. Well, you know what? Good luck with that, buddy. I'm gonna be aiming. I'm gonna be aiming to help you out.
Just keep staring at that fridge.
Somebody in the chat didn't like our talk about GTA 5. How dare they?
You're doing God's work, Skater McGee.
Thought it was Scooter.
It was.
The nature of the oldest house has changed his name.
That's right.
They call me Skater McGee.
Except for when they don't.
The only difference between Skater and Scooter McGee is that Scooter McGee rides a scooter and Skater McGee skates. Otherwise, they're literally the same like down to a cellular level.
They're genetically identical.
That's correct. One of them got the dominant genes, and one of them got the recessive genes. And that's the one that gets to pilot the Metal Gear. How much do you know about genetics?
Good amount.
Okay, good. Like, are you saying that you passed a course in high school, maybe?
That would imply that I've passed a course, ever. This is dangerous.
If prompted to take a basic biology class at the high school level, you, with your knowledge of genetics, you could pass it.
Fuck! Yeah, I could
take that
probably
as
pass
the-
it.
Okay, well, congratulations, because you understand genetics a little bit better than Hideo Kojima did in 1996.
Oh, good.
Man, I can't wait to get to Yokohama. I'm just sitting over here thinking about Yakuza 7, and I really want to go back to Yokohama. It's maybe the best game installed on my hard drive right now. Actually, you know what? That's a good question. I'm going to take a look at my hard drive and realize that it's very plain. That's just perfect for a streamer like me. You know, I shun fancy things like electricity. Okay, let's see. What's in contention here for the best? We've got Yakuza, Like a Dragon. We've got Fable 1 and Alan Wake. And Oblivion. I would put Oblivion up there. Do I like Alan Wake more than I like Oblivion, which is saying a lot because I fucking love me some Oblivion. Do I like Alan Wake more than Fable 1? Yes. I think Alan Wake is a better game than Fable 1. I have a lot of memories with Fable though. I might say that I like Fable more than Oblivion. I like Alan Wake more than Oblivion. So I guess it really comes down to Like a Dragon and Alan Wake. Keep in mind, I don't have very many things installed on here right now. I don't know how Like a Dragon ends yet, but right now it's in contention. I really like that game. Sega, if you're listening, pay me.
Get those shill bucks, huh?
That's right. Are you impressed by our view counts on Twitch? Are you impressed by my YouTube channel? No? Well, okay. Pay me anyway, though. I can't promise that your money will be well spent. But what I can promise is that it will be spent. So when you think about it, if you're paying me to talk about how much I like Yakuza, you're really just making an investment in the economy.
That's right.
It's like a stimulus check, but for one person.
I really like that.
I'm glad you like it.
It's like a stimulus checkbook for one person. You're investing in the economy of me.
That's correct. What are you gonna do with all this money? I don't know. Spend it probably. What were you gonna do with it? Why make more video games when you can just make the one video game and give it to me?
Why make many games when few do trick?
Now I understand the argument here is that, well, you can just get multiple video games. And those dogs can get the video games. And we can develop video games for dogs.
That's right.
And I would say, listen, that's a really good idea. But do I have to pay for them?
Speaking of...
Because if I don't have to pay for them... If I don't have to pay for them, then okay. But if I do have to pay for them, cease all development and give me the money instead.
Yeah,
the dog really,
he agrees.
Really wants... Yeah, he really wants to play those video games for dogs. You know what the effect reminds me of when those guys are doing like their after image?
Yeah.
It reminds me of like Windows 95 when something would go wrong and you would just drag your mouse across this, like your mouse cursor across the screen.
I know what you mean.
That's what it, yeah. That's the good shit.
That's the good shit.
That's how you know it's a computer.
Hey,
when
kid,
it doesn't work.
I'm a computer.
Please cease the downloading.
Help computer.
Help computer. Help computer is great, and I don't know why.
It's wonderful.
That's the object of power. I need to cleanse it.
Help computer might be one of my favorites. Let's Launch Over It is also really good, though.
Alright, how much of a pocket dimension am I in right now?
That depends. What does your pocket dimension look like? Does it look good? Does it look bad? Does it look like it might climb on rocks? See, the true meta of this game is that because of the distorted nature of the oldest house, you and I will never be in sync as long as this game is running.
That's right.
It's like being in my own pocket dimension.
You're just at a slight temporal offset, that's all.
Yeah, that's correct. Honestly, the imagery on that TV mostly reminds me of that one section in Ocarina of Time when you're going through Ganon's castle, and it's like, oh man, I fucking love that moment. If you haven't gotten to that point in that game before, you essentially enter a hallway, and the hallway has like a sign in it that says, "Hey, this hallway will always be safe. This hallway will always be stable. The rest of the room is the rest of the castle is like a problem because of Ganon, but this room is okay." And you're like, "All right, cool. I can come back here and save if I need a break." So you leave the room, and you come back, and the whole thing is fucking shifted into a twisting corridor. And it's like, oh, I guess not. I guess never mind then. But the fact that it was a shifting corridor on the N64 made it really, really cool looking.
That's pretty novel.
It reminds me of the endless staircase in Mario 64, and how at the time, like looking at that, you're like, holy shit. I know that it's probably just loading you into a previous state seamlessly or whatever, but
it loops like a treadmill.
Yeah, I love the N64. There are moments with that system that you're just like, holy shit. a lot of the games released for it were bad, and a lot of the games released for it were excellent given the time. That's the thing to me, is that Ocarina, like, despite I would say one section with a particular fetch quest, which is a Zelda thing, and the frame rate of the time, like, that game is still completely 100% playable. It still works surprisingly well in the modern day. I guess the same thing for 64 is like the game just controls so well and has an openness to it and a prompt for exploration. You can just go back and play it, it's fine. Games get close. Star Fox 64 is pretty good. I don't think it's perfect, but it's definitely really good. Donkey Kong 64 would be one of those, except for the character switching mechanic. If you could switch your character on the fly, and you didn't have to go back to do it and backtrack, I think people and history would have looked back on Donkey Kong 64 as way, way kinder than they actually do. Banjo-Kazooie, still great. Straightforward, but still great. Fucking Extreme G is a good one.
God damn piece of shit mouse.
Oh, that's not great. It's alright, Jesse. You can take control of this situation.
Fucking I hate this thing. I hate it.
Is it a wireless or is it a wired?
It's a wireless, but that's not the problem. The problem is that the button has dead zones in it.
Ah, I see.
So if you press it a bit, it's fine. If you press it a little harder, it breaks. And then if you press it harder than that, it works again. And it's fucking annoying.
What type is it? Because I've been using the same Logitech for a couple of years now.
This is also a Logitech.
Is it an M10? Do you know?
No, it's a G700S.
Okay, let me
This
take a
stream
look.
not brought to you by the G700S.
Or by Logitech.
Fucking goddamn it. Where am I?
G700S?
Uh-huh. I've been using it for a long time. Fuck off.
Ah, yeah, look at that thing. That's got, oh, wow. This is expensive. This is a fucking expensive mouse, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, maybe a little too expensive to be doing what it does.
Amazon lists this as $340.
Okay, I definitely didn't pay that much for it.
I was gonna say, like, what?
It's old. Maybe it went up in price.
It might be like out of print or
production.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, everything is print. Do you ever... This is a thing that I love to do that I know maybe some people do, but do you ever just look at customer questions and reviews and such just to see like what people are like?
I do not. I cannot say that I do that.
So it's the same part of me that will, like, I'll look up pictures of like cheap-ass Halloween costumes and just zoom in on the product photos that they, like the faces, and just see was the person being paid enough to do this. I've got a customer question here, which is just iOS. The answer is, I don't think that iOS supports mice. But the question is just iOS, no capitalization, it's all lowercase, no question mark.
How do you know it's a question then?
Because it's a question. It says question and answer. There is a field for question and a field for answer.
Is the answer
And
just no?
the answer is reasonable. The answer comes from somebody who doesn't. Oh, this is question. iOS. Answer by Captain Cork on October 22nd. iOS give you message you aren't beautiful if you plug in mouse with more than one button.
Wonderful.
I don't understand. Brutal Moose did a series of videos that it's talking more or less about the phenomenon that I'm talking about, which is like going on Walmart.com and looking at user submitted reviews and questionnaires for like Hungry Man frozen dinners and just seeing what happens. It's the same part of me that looks up like anime mugs on YouTube. In fact, let's see what we get. You need to start doing this with like safe search turned on or something, because it's always bad.
It's always bad.
Oh, here's one that you would like.
Yeah?
It's a white coffee cup that says fuck on it, and the handle is just a black F.
I like that a lot.
The cup just says fuck. That seems like a very you thing. Okay, this one is just a Gundam head, which is also great.
Oh my god!
Like, it's enclosed. I don't see a way in which you extract liquid from this device. This one is the Dragon Ball.
Get out of my way! Shit!
Of course, we've got a Rick and Morty I'm Pickle Rick ceramic coffee mug priced at $14.99, which is just like a moss green mug with that on it. Yeah.
Can't you see I'm in enough pain here?
It's okay, don't worry about it. Okay, so this is layer 1 of the dream, in which I've searched on Amazon anime mugs. I will now search anime mugs for weeks, which is a related search topic.
This is getting irritating now.
See what shows up. I should point out to anybody listening, anybody listening at any point in time, I did not, that's not my wording. That's the wording that Amazon chose to use and present to me. What do we got here? Okay, well, I searched for an anime mug, and it just came up with a giant throw blanket that's like a print of a tortilla. So that's just wrong. But I'll take it. We got more Rick and Morty mugs, of course. Dude, so many of these are just bad. Like, so many of these are things that I can't actually repeat on stream because of how bad they are. And that's ultimately that's the worst part about all this. Oh, here's a solid white mug with blue text on it that says, "I'm the husbando, you're the baka."
You should buy that one.
Should buy that one. Why can't I get a coffee mug that says Yaoi Zone on it?
You could. You just have to get it custom printed.
Yeah, but then you have to like go to the process of telling somebody that you want it to say that. No, not at that point yet.
No, not enough of a man to own up to it.
No. Here's So here's something that I find interesting. There's a design here that says Otaku Inside, and it's the Intel Inside logo. My question to you is Intel Inside still a thing that they put on their machines?
I don't see why not.
Like, I remember that, like, the blue swoosh mark thing, right? I remember that being a, like a late 90s, early 2000s thing. Is that still on computers? I can't tell you.
And the worst part is that it takes so long to get another go. Because the loading screens take so long.
It takes a while, yeah. You might be happy to know that an updated re-release is going to happen on the newer consoles with, like, proper loading.
Are they going to bring that to the PC version?
Probably not. Well, maybe. Honestly, nowadays, I can't tell. Because nowadays, it just doesn't, like, it doesn't really follow any kind of logic. Sometimes it does when it shouldn't. Sometimes it doesn't when it should. When it would take no effort, sometimes it doesn't.
The hanging is not making this any easier.
No, I imagine it wouldn't. I mean, it all comes down to execution, right? Are you finding that you're, like, dodging too soon or too late, maybe?
I'm finding that there's too much shit going on for my idiot peanut brain. And I end up getting flanked from, like, 3 different directions, and then the boss one-hit kills me.
Can you take care of the ads first?
They're endless.
Oh, I see.
Well, are they endless? It seems like there's a fixed number of them. I'll need to check on that.
Have you tried using a different gun?
That'll probably be what I try next.
Yeah, I mean, you're the charge shot is really, really good for
well, my logic is that
things
it's
out.
good for bosses.
I think the charge shot is specifically supposed to be like a fast-moving projectile for those guys in the air that otherwise would be able to evade.
Fucking no, because they dodge it like they dodge your telekinesis.
Well, I mean, like, the final upgrade. I'm mostly going off of my knowledge of the final upgrade trees. The final upgrade tree for the shot, or for the charge, is that it's fast enough that you can't dodge out of it. I don't know, what's, like, maybe crowd control is your best bet. Seems like you're doing them in, what, 2? 2 seems good. I mean, it should be doable no matter what. You never know. Man, these PlayStation 5 scalping things are getting really out of hand. I've been making an effort to try and track one down, and like, ooh, holy damn! We're talking about prices up to 30,000.
That's just unreasonable.
It's unreasonable. Like the highest end version of the console is worth $500. To go 30,000 is just like, it's madman's pain. I wish that PlayStation didn't have all of the better games. The Xbox just looks like such a nicer machine, I guess. like it's like if you took all of the color theory and design notes from Apple, but took away the part where Apple makes it all like sleek and form factor. Because it's just a big router. I saw a Photoshop, or not a Photoshop. I saw like a craft that somebody posted on Twitter. And it was just like a clay model of Setokaiba's head on top of it. It would be really good.
That's...
I kind of wanted.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should just do that.
I should do that. If I just... The problem is that the space that I have in my system, I know that I'm gonna have to put it down horizontally. You know what I actually might do? I might just get a blue-eyed white dragon sticker and put it on the side. White lightning, right? My grandpa's console has no weak games. My favorite thing whenever these consoles have these types of supply and demand shortage issues is when you try to go and search for PlayStation 5 on Amazon or online retailers, and you literally type PlayStation 5 into the search bar, and you know for a fact that they have an option to buy it, but instead of bringing you to the product page, you get like a full 2 pages of suggested links up to and including PlayStation 4, PlayStation PSP Go, and like various controller apparatus. Or graphics cards for PCs. They try and go to all of the extremes they can possibly manage to give you everything except for the thing that they know isn't available. And it's like, you're not fooling it. Everybody knows that you sell it.
Was Salvador, the head of security. His team didn't stand a chance against the Hiss.
It's very silly.
Oh, god damn.
I know.
That dude put up a fight.
But you did it, though. You defeated Salvador. Great job. And you know what else? This room fucking looks so pretty. Like, what I like that combat arena.
Another object of power going nuts.
And like...
Here we go again.
The environment destruction works really well here.
It does. Well, because the geometry is relatively simple. It just looks good, so you can destroy more of it.
Here's something for you to read.
I will as soon as it pops up on stream. It may take a moment. How was your day, chat? My day was good. My days are filled with endless wonder. You know, we gotta time these so we can figure out just how long this delay is.
This is like pushing 20 seconds now. Maybe longer.
You have, yep, I can see the little indicator. Now it's on screen. The crew of the White Ocelot first encountered a strange spherical phenomenon while fishing in the blank. Witnesses described it as a black sphere with faint light behind it. It hovered just off the bow of the ship. The crew, blank, by throwing a tin bucket, which disappeared into the sphere. Soon after, the vessel lost structural integrity. The ship's metal rusted and fell apart within minutes. As the ship sank, the sphere lowered into the water. A passing fishing vessel called the blank rescued the 4 surviving crew. Agents were dispatched to the White Ocelot's last known coordinates, blank, and began diving operations. On the ocean floor, the agents found the sphere. The ship was entirely destroyed except for its anchor. As agents lifted the anchor off the ocean floor, they noticed the sphere behaved in conjunction with the anchor, moving and stopping as one. Contact with the sphere was avoided, but handling the anchor proved harmless. The item was transported by the Blank to the U.S. port of Blank. Upon arriving in New York, it was brought into the Bureau via the Blank.
Whack. Alright, give me the TV. I want it.
Do you think Hannibal Buress would have joined the Federal Bureau of Control had he had the option?
Use the TV/babysitter. Levitate/superhero over the obstacle.
Correct.
Oh.
Imagine the set destruction with the Remedy's Northlight engine tech.
This works incredibly well.
I'm gonna attempt to reload Twitch, see if I can get anywhere closer to where you actually are. Ah, yeah, okay, I was waiting for this. This is one of the coolest powers in the game. You know, it's funny, because when I had thought about this the other day, right?
Yeah?
I don't know about you, but whenever I think about what is my deepest wish and desire beyond like love and glory and fame and all that stuff, like
Power of
if I
flight.
could do anything in the world, anything, what could my heart dream up? And it's, I want to fly, and I want the power of telekinesis. And this game does both very well. The only one that is on that list that you can't do in here is invisibility.
Dealt with the TV.
I think invisibility would also be
Now
really
I can
cool.
find Dylaaan.
I think if I got invisibility, I would never turn it off. Because that's just the kind of person that I am.
You could be an entirely invisible superhero. That would be that would be so cool. Or, you know, more realistically, you probably wouldn't be a superhero, right? Because then you would run into the situation where people are trying to counter your weakness. Instead, you would be like a small-time hero, helping people out, like day to day, but not on a big enough scale to get yourself noticed and countered. That's what I would do if I had some kind of superpower. You know, the funniest thing to me is about watching viewers come in and leave, like regardless of what's going on screen. I think it's literally people come in and they're like, wait a second, where's the face cam? Where's the donation ticker? And then they leave.
Yeah?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
You think it's that bad?
I think that is the environment that people expect. Like, if somebody were to come in off the front page and be like, oh, this stream is just video, and there's, like, audio from a disembodied voice, well, what the fuck? Where's PogChamps? Where's the link to their Twitter? You know what I mean? Where's the LED behind their chair?
The fact that that would come off as underproduced is upsetting.
Well, I mean, you know, in a lot of ways, we're very behind the curve. But at the same time, I look at a lot of the old stuff that used to be produced on YouTube before it became like a desolate wasteland. And I'm like, you know, Slow Beef and Diabetes, for their Retsu Prey stuff, always did it, and Chip Cheesem does it, which is excellent. He doesn't need anything beyond just him and Ironicus, I guess. I mean, there are definitely streamers that do just raw game and commentary, and that's enough. But I feel like people expect the pomp and circumstance in the same way that, like, somebody might look at their plate and be like, oh, broccoli? Gross, give me the meat. You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is people are children. Because that's kind of what I'm getting here.
I'm saying that people are very picky.
Much like
And
children.
I have a higher opinion of children's intelligence than you do. But
And that's where you're wrong.
people might have the intelligence span of children. I'll admit that. Children typically do not have a capacity for a great amount of attention. But then at the same time, like, I don't know, you and me, when we grew up, we were playing like RPGs that lasted into the hundreds of hours, probably.
Because we were fucking crazy. Nobody does that anymore. Adults don't do that anymore.
People should do that.
Yeah. Nobody has
If
time.
if a game is good enough, everybody has time. You kidding me?
To live
Are
in
you
the world
kidding?
that you do.
Are you kidding me?
Time for another side quest.
What year is it? Who am I? Where am I? Man, the production lines on these consoles are just crazy to me. I understand, like, the logistics of shipping something like this right now is nuts, but at the same time, the only reason that this is an issue is because of online-only purchases and bots being lined up to buy it. I feel like for high-ticket items like this, you should have to perform some sort of verification check to get yourself in line for everything, right?
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I mean, it's not like you're okay. So consider scalping, right? I don't know enough about scalping and how that goes on in the background, like, to be able to tell you whether or not this would be the case. But it seems to me like if you were to buy a $500 console and scalp it for $1,000, the reason you would do that is because the $500 is coming back to you, and because that purchase has already been made to whatever retailer or whatever, like, shipping, like, whoever is shipping your product out, whatever retailer that is, you as Sony have made the money on the purchase and the sale of that one console.
That's right.
So that extra money isn't going to you as Sony or you as the retailer, that's going to you as the scalper. Unless those scalpers maybe also work at the retailers, which seems like a likely scenario. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how these things typically happen. My experience with scalping is like, hey, you want these concert tickets? I bought them an hour ago. I'm gonna stay outside the venue and sell them at like an $80 premium on the day of. I don't know how digital scalping, like, changes in regards to who gets on the waiting list first, right?
I mean, it's the same damn thing, ain't it?
Maybe. But I would assume that, like,
The consoles
you
are
have a
all
limited...
sold out because scalpers bought them, so if you want to buy it, you have to buy it from the scalper.
Yeah, but
At a
my
premium.
question isn't how does that happen. My question is how does the scalper get a hold of it, and not purely retailers?
They buy
You know what
it
I mean?
from the retailers.
So it's a problem on retail's end, then.
Yeah, there are no checks.
Okay. That makes sense.
Because nobody cares. Pretty simple.
In that case, then yeah, the onus should totally be on the retailer side. In order to buy something like that seems okay, so that seems like something that a Sony or a Microsoft would have to draw up a contract about. Say, hey, if you're going to sell this, you need to make sure that whoever you're selling it to passes like a verification check that they are human.
Limit 1 per customer and all that.
And there was a limit 1 per customer, but it was digital only.
Super easy to bypass.
Exactly.
Also, I
So
just
from-
want to say something I have a great amount of love for that's kind of fallen by the wayside. Rocket launchers that have unlimited range.
Yeah.
Because all too often nowadays you get a rocket launcher in a game, and you fire the rocket and it goes for a bit, and then it just either falls out of the sky or it goes wide.
Well, yeah, because you need to render things off in the distance, right? And the more heavy on resources your game is, the less you want to have to do that if you don't need to. Whereas it's like, what are you running, Quake? Fucking shoot that thing until it goes.
Shoot it and watch it go.
I agree with you. Also, here's something that I'll say. I want to say that I touched on this early on in maybe the first or second stream of this.
Yeah.
Where I really appreciate the simple geometry used in an artful way.
Yeah, we did talk about this.
The first time that I mentioned it, I talked about how it was like a good way to facilitate the action and the destructible environments going on. I think the thing that I would also like to add to that is I really appreciate it. It brings to mind how some of the feelings that I got from like Mirror's Edge in a weird way. Like doing a lot with very sparsely little.
It's done. It's just one large-scale HRA.
He's not doing so well.
It's there now. Protecting the most important thing. From what's coming. I'll be there inside. Locked down. Ready to be blown away. Lamenting, down, rigid. Ready for the journey. To be blown, flying into the model. Ready to see. To understand.
Damn, I sure am glad I decided to explore a little bit.
And poor Dr. Darling.
And that is 100% missable.
Yes. Yes, it is. We get our second Major Tom reference, our Space Oddity reference. Man, poor Dr. Darling. He tried his best. He wasn't perfect, but you know, he was doing far more than almost anybody else in the cast, except for maybe Jesse. Jesse in like a personal sense.
Man, I am just getting all these secrets, damn.
The idea that Jesse has been looking for Dylan for 17 years unendingly is really kind of heartwarming. What a good person. For all of the good that it hasn't done, that's a nice character feat, I guess. And you know, for everything that's gone on here, Dr. Darling was committed to his job. He was trying hard to properly contain and to properly educate everybody. He was doing his best to keep the situation under control.
And
He's a very likable character.
Unlike working for the Foundation, being dedicated to your job doesn't necessarily mean being an awful human being.
Right.
Fucking Jesus. Oh,
He
I
was
can
running...
improve my levitation. I would like to improve my levitation.
I mean, he was running the whole thing of, like, doing what he was supposed to do and going way above and beyond. And you think about the nonsense that is his job.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the problem, right? Is like for the uncontrollable nature and for the obviously out of everybody's scope and scale problems that they're all dealing with, they put up a damn good fight.
I mean, the Veil has held for this long. And it will continue to hold.
Yeah, like the fight isn't even over.
For all the crazy shit that's happening in the oldest house, it's still the oldest house.
Yeah.
And you know what they say about the oldest house? What happens in the oldest house stays in the oldest house.
Hmm.
When it happens, when it happens in the oldest house, they pinch back.
No, Luigi, it's a stone. I fucking chiseled it. We will keep that in mind. Keep this train of thought in mind because it goes some interesting places that I like a lot.
It's a football. I fuck it.
Hey, Mario! I miss those videos.
Hey, there's the swan boat.
I miss those videos so much. And yeah, I can watch some of them, but I can't watch all of them. Some of them are just gone to time.
It's tragic.
It really is. There's still a lot of like Walrus Guy and Deeper Cut stuff out there that is absolutely still accessible, and that stuff is fantastic. Pretty much every one of the Jackie Chan adventure videos is still up, which is wonderful.
That is one.
Where's our Remedy-made AAA game focused on the property that is Jackie Chan Adventures?
Still waiting on it.
You have to gather the talismans. You can literally like slot in different talismans for different powers. Come on.
Man, fucking give me like a Shaolin Showdown game. That would be awesome. I fucking love me some Shaolin Showdown.
Play as Raimundo.
Yeah.
Downloadable Jack Spicer DLC.
I'd play it. I don't know about you.
It would be really fun to play as Jack Spicer.
You get like the jetpack and everything.
You get a bunch of tools, but you're very weak. You get like the spider leg walkers, and you get like a jetpack and all this stuff. But it's the hard mode because if you take any hits, you're pretty much done.
Yeah, you cannot take a hit. By the way, this is called a panopticon, but it's not a panopticon.
More like panopticant.
I can only imagine that making these must have been fun. Like, we'll take this cell and put a mundane object in it, and do that, like, 18 times.
Yeah.
There's your crowbar.
There's your crowbar.
And normally I'm not one to be like, oh, it's a crowbar in a game, it's a Half-Life reference, but come on, look at it.
That one is.
That one
it's
is
the same.
It's
Yeah.
the same crowbar, and Remedy, I think, likes to put Half-Life references in their games, because
Dylan.
fucking everyone does.
So
There's a good
close.
one in Halo 3 that I always liked. There's the crowbar in the map, the sand trap map.
Mm-hmm. There's also one in Mad Max. There's one.
You know what my favorite thing about this map is?
What's that?
You can absolutely see Dylan's cell way before you get to it in here.
Can you hear
Like,
me?
if you know what you're looking for, it is totally there.
Jesse.
It's just like a background element that I really like a whole lot. Dylan! You son of a bitch. What's your favorite Schwarzenegger movie?
I thought The Running Man was pretty good.
Okay. Running Man's good.
Everybody's first choice is obviously always going to be Terminator.
Yeah. Yeah, I go for Terminator
Are you
2.
there, Jesse?
Emily?
Mine is Terminator
gone.
2,
Dylan isn't
followed
here.
by Terminator 1.
He might be nearby. Or maybe the hiss got to him. I don't know.
You know what?
Jesse,
I would say that
listen.
it depends on
Dylan's
the,
here. With us.
it depends
He
on the
just
mood I'm
walked
in.
He says he is
If I'm in the
giving
mood for an
himself up.
action movie,
He's been affected
Terminator
by the
2
hiss,
is fucking
but he
aces.
is different than the others.
The
We
bee's
must
knees.
isolate him.
I'm on my way.
If I'm in the mood for, something a bit more personal,
We need to get back.
probably Terminator 1.
I have to see my brother.
This is something we should read. Federal Bureau of Control, Dylan Faden Daily Observations. 9:30 a.m. Breakfast is brought. 11:54 a.m. Gets out of bed, uses toilet, returns to bed. 11:57 a.m. Asks for television to be turned on. Staff do so. 12 p.m. Lunch is brought. Breakfast is removed. 12:02 p.m. Eats lunch. 12:38 uses toilet. 4:03 begins talking to self. Recording speech is not possible due to noise from television. 4:07 becomes upset, throws lunch tray at glass. 4:09 sedated, crew clean the cell, television is turned off. 6:12 comes to, asks for television to be turned on. Staff refuse. Television privileges were refused due to hostile behavior. 6:16 sleeps.
Yeah, no wonder. It's already clear he has not been having a very good time. He's kept under, like, such close watch that it's to be nightmarish.
Your life is no longer your own.
No.
All right, I won't take up too much of your time today, Dylan. Like I said, I want to talk about Jessie, your sister.
What about her?
I just want to get your perspective.
Like,
What do you
whatever
think of
he's
her?
doing,
What kind of person is she? That
or
sort of
whatever
thing.
he is
I adore my
capable
sister.
of,
When I was little.
everyone is clearly scared shitless about
And
him.
you don't anymore?
When I first got here, sure. I'd always hoped she'd come too. Find me, to take me home. We went everywhere together. Why should this be any different? Casper said she could come too, to the Bureau. If she wanted to. But she never did.
Why do you think that is?
Because she didn't care about me. She always wanted to be out on her own, seeing the world. She always said so. I guess she got what she wanted.
Great. So she wanted to see the world. Did she ever mention any place in particular?
Why?
We like to ask questions around here, you know that. Any particular cities, towns, landmarks, anything like that?
I don't remember.
What about family and friends? Were you close with anyone living outside of Ordinary?
I'm done with this. Tell Casper I want pizza for lunch today.
Dylan, wait, we're not... End of session.
So, a couple things.
Yeah.
First of all, that is not subtle questioning.
No.
If you want to get someone to tell you what you want to know, you cannot make it obvious that that's what you want to know, especially in scenarios like this. And secondly, imagine how stunted this kid must be.
Like, so this is something also that, okay, I mentioned before that they've been doing a pretty good job of fighting back against the nature of their job in general, right? But between this and between the way that, like, Threshold Kids was made, they are clearly terrible at subtlety across the board.
Absolutely.
And B, kind of incompetent when it comes to, like, most things. The whole situation here, the whole operation, is clearly them responding to and countering problems as the problems arise, as opposed to coming in with any sort of actual plan.
Which, to be fair, how can you?
To be fair, yes. But, like, the worst of it comes out when dealing with somebody like Dylan, who, for all intents and purposes, like, he had to be taken out of Ordinary and raised like this, without any kind of human connection or a point for emotional resonance, right?
Which is kind of my point when I say, like, imagine how stunted this kid must be.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nightmare inside and out. And they were terrified of this kid before he started growing up into whoever he is now. In a lot of ways, Control is... You might call it darker than most Remedy games.
I definitely get that impression.
And
I hope I don't suddenly discover that there's a limit on the slow fall.
The thing that I'll tell you about fall and breaking your fall is if you have the air dash, you can use that to break it if you time it properly.
Yeah, I did notice that.
But yeah, like, Remedy games usually go dark, but there's something a little bit more creeping about it. Just, like, Max Payne is very overbearing in an intentional way. It's film noir, so it revels in the fact that it's dark and dreary, and that Max Payne is named Max Payne for a reason. Alan Wake is dark in, like, a TV cable sort of way, where it's creepy and unsettling the more that you think about it, but it's not without its moments of empowerment as well.
And it's not, like, actively depressing.
Right.
It's not melancholy, you could say.
There is clearly a fight going on. There is a world to fight for, and the implication that the outside world might be able to win. And then you've got Control. And Control is just like this treasure trove of unimaginable mind and reality bending horrors.
Phenomenal cosmic power, you might say.
That, yeah, and it's just like, well, clearly from the get-go, there was no option to actually win. There was only the option to control. And whether or not you can do it is kind of the name of, literally the name of the game, but whether or not you can actually effectively do it is what spells either everyone lives or everyone dies, or potentially worse. And I think as a theme, we get into it a little bit here, and we get into it a little bit more later. But control is... I'm a sucker for a piece of work that does good work with its theme and sticks to it in a creative way. And Control is very good at doing that. Whether you look at Dylan's lack of control or what it means for him to be controlled as a person, or you look at somebody like Trench, who was completely obsessed with the idea of control to the point that it killed him, or, you know, did whatever it did.
I am not convinced that Trench dying is like a bad thing. And not even in the sense of like, oh, he sucked anyway. No. Like, this kind of goes beyond life and death.
Yeah. And it's like, so we've seen people with Jessie taking control, with her literally being the third pillar of the control argument, right?
Uh-huh.
Her taking control and taking that mantle from him is so interesting to me in so many ways, because something that I really like is not only is it not necessarily a bad thing that Trench died, but everybody is like so accepting of it, like right off the bat. Like, Jessie wanders in off the street, literally, and she's like, hey, I guess I'm the new boss, even though I've never worked here before and I don't know any of you. And everyone's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I mean, you have the gun.
You've got the gun. But even if you didn't, you imagine that, like, Jessie would come in and, like, this kind of thing can't phase them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just the nature of working here is, hey, something weird happened and somebody else is in charge? Yeah, alright. Why not?
I mean, the impression that I get is that this was just Trench's day job. You get the gun and suddenly this is what you do.
Yes. Well, they say it in the first part too. It's like the board says, you wield the gun, and so we wield you.